Republicans have been very kind to me from the beginning. Even from the beginning, when Bobby was running as a Democrat, they weren't mean.
No.
And they never have been.
No.
And I can't say that for the Democrats.
I agree.
And
it's sad because it's not the Democrats we grew up with.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the difference that people don't, I think, see. They're like, why did you turn on the Democrats? Well, first of all, I didn't. Like I said, we voted for the same person. But I'm not going to pretend I don't notice how different they are.
Yeah.
How mean they've become.
Bill Maher and Cheryl Hines teamed up to take a direct shot at the Democratic Party, and the result was both revealing and unexpectedly entertaining. These once loyal Democrats broke down how the party has slowly unraveled in recent years, especially as Donald Trump's momentum has surged. They also laid out exactly why their trust in a party that once inspired them has faded, replaced by the sense that the Democrats they knew have completely transformed into something unrecognizable.
One good thing about Trump, he really, really does not like war.
Which I love that about him.
I kind of do, because I don't want war either, and most of them are unnecessary.
Agreed.
I mean, he took a long time when I had that dinner with him talking about the pictures he sees coming from Ukraine, the stuff that doesn't get out on the news. It's like raw footage of bodies in the field.
Yes.
And you could tell it really moved him. He's like, I do not want to see this, and I'm the kind of guy who can fix this.
It's genuinely striking to see Cheryl Hines and Bill Maher openly admit there's actually something they admire about Donald Trump. Coming from two voices long known for their relentless criticism, especially Maher, it's a surprising shift. For years, Maher's monologues were the go-to source for razor-sharp, non-stop hits on Trump and the Republican Party. But now, this more reflective, recalibrated version of Maher has flipped the familiar script. He's drawing in a wave of unexpected new supporters, while alienating some of his most loyal, longtime fans. Even people within his own political circle are stunned. Some say Maher has simply hit his breaking point with the Democrats' mixed messages. Others insist he was softened, or maybe even subtly won over, after that much-discussed dinner he had with Trump. Whatever the real reason, the shift is undeniable. And ironically, it's generating more attention than anything he said during all those years of predictable, straight-from-the-playbook commentary.
You know, he's never not going to be Trump. So, of course, he's like, I saw 9, okay, even if it's half that, it's still good that we're solving them and not starting them.
That's the thing that I find that I really like about President Trump when he talks about Ukraine. And he talks about Ukraine and Russia, and he will say they're losing people on both sides.
Donald Trump has made it clear, time and time again, that he has no intention of dragging the U.S. into another era of endless foreign wars. He's been outspoken about making the end of the Ukraine conflict one of his signature goals. Whether people support his strategy or question it, there's no denying that his approach is reshaping the entire conversation. Trump has repeatedly emphasized that he wants the war wrapped up, and as Maher pointed out, his position stands in direct contrast to President Biden's. That difference alone signals a major shift in momentum that no matter how anyone feels about Trump personally, it's hard to ignore the fact that this moment closely resembles the outcome President Biden spent years trying, but ultimately failing, to achieve. While Biden pushed for diplomatic paths that never fully materialized, Trump's unconventional pressure tactics seem to be creating movement, or at least forcing the conflict onto a new trajectory. And for Trump, that's quickly becoming a significant political win, one with implications that stretch far beyond U.S. borders.
He was just asking me about when I met him, what surprised me the most, and I said I was surprised that he really likes to listen to people. He's very curious and what
they
you have to say.
They hated when I said that. Again, because I'm just telling you what happened. What, should I lie?
I guess so. I guess
right. He kicked me in the balls under the table, and then
I knew he would.
He threw the spaghetti against the wall when I raised the subject of tariffs. No, no.
I can already picture plenty of Democrats seething over Bill Maher's latest comments about Donald Trump. For years, everyone assumed Maher would stick to the script and deliver nonstop criticism. But the moment he showed even a hint of respect, or simply acknowledged that Trump can actually be surprisingly pleasant and likable, everything shifted. Cheryl Hines has seen that side of Trump too, and her experience only reinforces what many on the left have refused to admit. People expected Maher to walk away from meeting Trump with sharper insults, fresh outrage, and even more brutal takedowns. Instead, he returned with nuance, and that alone sent parts of his own audience into an emotional tailspin. What this really exposes is the mindset of certain individuals. They don't dislike Trump because of personal experience or informed judgment. They dislike him because they were told to. And with one honest reaction, Maher just blew that narrative wide open.
Yeah, he listened.
I think he actually wants more people around him for a stimulating conversation.
Yeah.
I was very surprised at, and mentioned it again, they hated me for it, that as opposed to so many important people I've met who, when you talk to them, you don't feel like they're really listening. They're kind of like, you know what I mean? And then when they answer you, it doesn't quite track, you know?
You're just waiting for their turn to talk.
This is both laugh-out-loud funny and surprisingly revealing. Politicians walk into interviews armed with preloaded talking points, polished lines, and a script so rehearsed you can almost hear the cue cards flipping in their heads. It's like they're reading from an invisible teleprompter floating just above the camera. And even when an interviewer throws a curveball, an unexpected question, a tougher angle, anything that pushes them off script, they still refuse to move. They cling to their talking points with mechanical stubbornness, recycling the same lines over and over, even when their answers don't match the question anymore. The result is these awkward, cringe-inducing moments where you can literally see the disconnect happening in real time.
Or they're just on this different level. I mean, these are show people too. I've had that. But I didn't get that with him at all.
No.
I got a guy who looked in my eyes, was listening to what I said, waited until I finished, even when it was contradictory, when it was he never got blustery or mad about it. You know, he said some things that I don't agree with and some things that I think are just, you know, plainly not right, like, you know, third term. Yeah, I think you could do it. I'm having people look into it. No, you can't do it. and you can have people look into it from now until the end of time. It's like 12 words in the Constitution. You can't do it.
This also explains why Kamala Harris so often delivered broad, blurry responses instead of clear, substantive answers. Even when a question demanded specifics, she drifted into those now famous word salads, long, polished sentences that sounded official but ultimately said nothing. Watching her interviews, it rarely felt like she was actually engaging with the question. Instead, she appeared locked onto pre-rehearsed talking points, forcing them into the conversation even when they didn't fit. That constant retreat to scripted, ultra-safe lines created a noticeable distance, as if she were just waiting for an easier prompt so she could slip back into her comfort zone. And when a politician does that, when the script becomes more important than genuine communication, it shows. Harris's interviews became a textbook example of how over-reliance on rehearsed messaging leaves viewers confused, unconvinced, and ultimately disconnected.
But he didn't get mad.
Right.
And then I also made the point that, you know, I went home that night and I was getting into bed in 60 Minutes. I taped it, and there he is on 60 Minutes, and he's like ranting and raving. I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
This is not the guy I met.
Yeah.
And so I'm just the reporter here. I'm just telling you.
This was my experience.
These aren't casual observers or neutral commentators. These are lifelong, loyal Democrats, people who've spent decades firmly planted in the party. And now, suddenly, they have something positive to say about their biggest political rival, Donald Trump. That alone is enough to send shockwaves through certain corners of the left. For years, the unofficial rule has been simple. Democrats must remain united in their hatred of Trump. No nuance. No exceptions. No independent thought allowed. So when voices like Bill Maher and Cheryl Hines step outside that strict script and admit that Trump has qualities worth acknowledging, it triggers outrage across Democratic circles and left-leaning media spaces. It interrupts a narrative the left has spent years carefully constructing. They don't want pundits, celebrities, or ordinary voters expressing anything other than fear, disgust, or hostility when Trump's name is mentioned. The idea that a committed Democrat could appreciate anything about him feels like a full-blown betrayal. And that's what makes this moment so revealing. It exposes just how rigid, emotional, and intolerant the political expectations on the left have become.
Republicans have been very kind to me from the beginning. They weren't mean.
No.
And they never have been.
No.
And And I can't say that for the Democrats.
I agree. That's the difference that people don't, I think, see. They're like, why did you turn on the Democrats? Well, first of all, I didn't. Like I said, we voted for the same person.
For years, Republicans were painted as the tough, unyielding side of American politics. But now, Bill Maher and Cheryl Hines are flipping that narrative, pointing to their own experiences to reveal a very different truth. More and more, it's becoming clear that the Democratic Party can be just as unforgiving, if not even harsher, toward anyone who steps outside the approved script. The moment you voice a thought even slightly outside the accepted boundaries, they don't just debate you, they come after you. They slap on labels, launch coordinated attacks, and in many cases, try to cancel you entirely. The message is unmistakable: fall in line or face the consequences. Maher and Hines calling out this shift matters because it exposes something many people have quietly felt but were afraid to admit. The Democrats aren't always the compassionate, empathetic party they claim to be. They can be brutally ruthless.
Democrats have been having a lot of donor retreats lately where liberal strategists hold ideathons, where they try to figure out why they keep losing elections. You know, apart from using words like ideathon. And now one idea that's getting a lot of attention is the Dems need to find their Joe Rogan, a liberal Joe Rogan, because that's why Kamala lost. Republicans have a podcast.
That's true. But the Democrats don't just need their own version of Joe Rogan. They desperately need their own version of Donald Trump. Someone authentic, brutally direct, unafraid to say things plainly, and bold enough to push back against the ever-growing woke machinery. Someone willing to call out the party's drift towards soft socialism without blinking. Right now, what Democrats lack is a leader with real backbone, a figure who can take criticism, admit mistakes, and refuse to crumble under the pressure of every trendy ideological wave. They need people who aren't terrified of upsetting Twitter, who don't hide behind scripted talking points, and who earn trust through sheer authenticity. That Maher's argument is simple. The party doesn't just need new voices. It needs strong, grounded personalities willing to challenge their own side when it counts. Only then can the Democrats begin rebuilding credibility. That wraps up today's video. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.